Don't bring me back. Don't bring me, bring me, don't.
Welcome back, you guys, and today we're going to be working on running a few samples on what would be a standard AR-15 grip. So we have our polymer plasticky lower here. We're going to go ahead and see how this holds up with some larger patterns and some tighter small patterns. And guys, first and foremost, I apologize about the sound in the background if you could hear that. I'm kind of under a tight schedule here lately. I've been a little under the weather, so I have the CNC machine running while we're going to be doing most of this stuff, so I apologize about the extra sound. I usually shut everything off when I do my videos for you guys, so that way you can hear me better. But we're going to just kind of make do with what we have. So first and foremost, what we want to do is we are going to shave off one of these sides to remove the existing texture that's on here, and then the other side we're not going to do that to. Okay, so a lot of the videos that you see online about stippling with the laser all have smooth sides. So I want to kind of show you guys the difference. We're going to be doing the same pattern on both sides, and that's going to show you what happens when we don't remove a textured finish and the finish that we get when it's smooth. So that's going to kind of give you just a little bit better understanding of overall fit and finish and quality that you would expect based off the person that's actually preparing your stippling. So let's get down to shaving one of these sides off, and let's jump right into it. Alright guys, I went ahead and shaved down one of the sides here. It's not super smooth, but it's enough for the testing here. And the idea is just to have it, you know, not the same as the factory textured side here. So what we're going to do is we're going to run these patterns back to back, so that way the video is not super long. We're not going to have a break between them. So what we're going to do is we'll run a small pattern here, then we'll flip it, then we'll do a larger one, then we'll flip it, and then we'll do, you know, a larger one then again. And we're also going to run some different patterns. I don't want to run just the same pattern 3 times different size. That really doesn't serve any purpose. So what we're going to do is we're going to change those patterns up a little bit as we do them. So guys, let's get started. Alright guys, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit of cleanup here. Basically, I'm just going to sand down all of this kind of burr stuff that's on the top here, if you can see any of that. There's just a lot of little fragments that are all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of prep that off, clean that up just a little bit, and let's bring you guys back over to the stainless table under the light. Alright guys, as you can see in the end of that last clip there was a lot of little shavings and a little bit of what I would call fibers that were kind of sticking up off of the actual polymer itself. I went ahead and took care of all of those, got right down to the actual detailed patterns of what we did, just to give you guys a little bit better of a view of the quality of what the laser can actually do and turn out. So let's just go ahead and do a real quick review. So first and foremost, we did the top pattern, which is a nice, neat, tiny honeycomb type or a hex pattern. We then went ahead and did a diamond pattern, which was quite a bit larger in the center here with the cross stitching. And then at the very bottom we did that chain link pattern, which is a very popular pattern I seem to run a lot of on the rear grip sections of the Glock slides. Now on the other side we did the non-prepped version, and it didn't come out quite as nice. And I knew that right straight up front. I mean, I think a lot of you guys that were watching this video were kind of like, we know it's not going to look anywhere near as nice and neat and crisp as the other side. So, you know, I don't think it was a shocker to any of us. However, I thought it was something that I wanted to show you guys anyhow. It made for a little bit better content in the video instead of just what a lot of the guys do. They'll run a grip and then they kind of show it and they're like, okay, we're done. And it's like a 2-minute video. They don't really get you up into, the actual work that they did. They're not actually showing you the detail of how it actually came out. Did it melt it? Did it not melt it? What did it do? So they added just one extra layer of detail into the project of exactly how it came out. So this is much more aggressive on your hand, and I would call that what would be your traditional style stippling, where a lot of that is, using a soldering iron, using some kind of a metal pin, heating it up and poking and prodding the polymer. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and some of the guys that are doing that are straight up like pure artists. I mean, they're going around, they're cutting nice crisp corners, everything is blended. I mean, they're really doing a fantastic job purely by doing it by eyesight and by angle and everything else. And major props to those guys that are doing that. However, I do believe that the market offers two different solutions, and one is obviously done with a laser and the other is the more traditional. The more traditional is going to be much more grippy, as I would call it, rough, textured, uneven finish. Which is a lot of what you guys are after anyhow. You're after that extra grip, and then the other side of the market is having it done with a laser, which is a much more detailed, crisp, clean cut pattern. This is really grippy for what it is down here, and what you're going to notice is down here on the very bottom, these top points here where they come together are actually more narrow than these. It's kind of maybe a little hard to tell that from where you guys are, but really what it comes down to is this was run a certain number of times, and then this one was actually done about 5 or 6 extra passes. So this is not only a larger pattern, but it's also a deeper cavity overall. So I'm really impressed with the way that came out, because we didn't see any chipping or flaking or cracking, which you would typically see when you're melting plastic. So I'm really impressed with the overall fit and finish that the laser can perform on a polymer. Alright guys, well I went ahead and snagged you a couple of pictures outside under the natural light, and as you're checking these out, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the overall process of polymer stippling done with a laser. And guys, really what it comes down to, and why I haven't really done a whole lot of these videos for you guys, is I didn't have the correct filtration system here in my work environment where it was safe to myself and other people that were here. Obviously that's a detrimental feature that you need to have. It's something that you don't want to get sick. You don't want to go down the path of having issues or health problems based off something like that. So went ahead and purchased the correct enclosures, the correct exhaust-based systems to go ahead and remove that air and that burnt plastic stuff up and out of the environment. Okay, so those systems are in place now here. That was one of the things that took a while to get all that stuff together, to do the research, make sure I had the correct amount of air moving, the amount of air removal, things like that. Just really needed to make sure I did my homework on that. I don't want to get sick. I don't want anybody else to come down with any kind of an issue based off of skipping or cutting a corner. So that was one of the reasons why you guys hadn't really seen this being performed quite as much for me, because I know that every time I put something out, I always get those, hey, are you offering it? Can I send it to you kind of deals. And I really just didn't want the people to be held up and feel like I'm just keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back to the point of where you guys are just like, he's not doing it, he's just saying he's going to do it. So I didn't really want to lead you guys on to believe that I was offering a product that maybe I wasn't actually offering at the current time. So what you're going to find out here over the next couple of weeks is that on our webpage, NCEngravers.com, you're going to actually be able to purchase some of those services through there. You'll be able to actually buy the Polymer 80 or the P80 lowers for the Glock 19s and the Glock 17 based frames that are already pre-laser stippled and ready to go. So you'll be able to basically buy one. Obviously you'll have to complete it yourself because we won't be able to complete it for you, but you'll be able to get it with a laser pattern already in it, and we'll also be able to do the Cerakoting if there's a certain color that you're looking for. So if there's something off the wall that matches something that you have, or you're just looking for something different, you'll be able to actually place an order from the webpage. We'll actually turn your work out and then go ahead and mail out your Polymer 80 P80 frame directly from us to you. So expect to see that over the next couple of weeks. The other thing is we're also going to be doing some other videos. So one of the things that we haven't done a lot of is the polymer video. So I want to do some PMags and turn a couple of those out and just kind of see what we can come up with on there. We also want to go ahead and obviously do some different designs on the P80 and polymer based lowers and some of the factory Glock lowers and M&P and CZ and things like that. Now, one of the things to take into consideration is that there are a lot of different types of polymer on the market, and from what I can tell, or my basic understanding of polymer, is that they're all kind of similar, but they're all kind of different. And what I mean by that is they're all a polymer, so they all fall into the same class or category of what their composite is, but some of them are different. So some of them are a little bit more dense, some of them are a little, less dense, and they're a little softer. So what you find, or at least my experience has been, that if you're doing something like a grip or a PMAG, it seems to have a lot of little fibers that come off, almost looking like fiberglass, like you guys had seen in the video earlier today. And when you're doing something like a factory Glock or a P80 lower, it's more like, I would say, a liquidy based polymer. So what ends up happening is, as the laser goes down in there, it does a lot of cupping effect, and if you don't do it right and you're not using the correct settings on the laser with the correct hardware, what you end up getting is a lot of liquid that just kind of makes its way around in a circle and doesn't really come up out of the hole. So you're really just kind of burning plastic, and then you move on, you come back and you burn some more plastic and so forth, and really at the end of the day, you're really not achieving the depth you're after, and you're taking a chance of it basically blending up over into the other pattern. So when you're working on something small like this, it might come out of one of these holes and go into the next. Well, as the laser goes into that hole, now it has double the amount of polymer, it doesn't go as deep. So there's a lot of play, and there's a lot of room for error, and even though they are all polymers, they all don't function the same way, right? Because there's lots of different plastics out there. So for all you guys that are your 3D printing guys, will tell you that they're, not everything's the same. Some of them heat up at a different temperature, some of them lay down at a different temperature, some of them cool at a different temperature and have different strengths. So that's the same thing that it comes with polymers. And a lot of the companies aren't going to tell you what their formula is, because they've made a product that they're selling on the market, and they've done the homework, the research, the time, and they put the technology into it, for the durability, the resistance, the overall fit and finish of their product, and what they're using it for, and what they need it to hold up to, what standards. So they're not really going to tell you, yeah, this is what we're doing, because they want competitive companies to go out and just start cranking out the same thing. So I think there's a lot of guys online that can tell you what the polymers are, but most of the manufacturers are kind of just like, yeah, go listen to those guys, and whatever they tell you is accurate. They're not really confirming or denying whether that's the correct polymer or not. So I guess what I'm getting at is, you have to create a formula for each one of the polymers based off of, on your laser, different speeds, different feeds, just like you would with a CNC. So like if you're cutting a specific metal, you have to do it at a certain speed, because if you do, 303 stainless is totally different than running a different grade stainless versus titanium versus aluminum, based off of what cutter you're using and coolant and flutes. So everything's a little bit different. You need to take the time and learn each and every one of those. So there's a lot to it, and that's one of the things that I've been studying the last couple of months and haven't really touched base with you guys, because I need to perfect something before I push the sale of something. So guys, that's kind of where I've been, and I apologize for this video kind of just being long and drawn out, but I wanted to let you guys know where the background knowledge was coming from, and why it took quite as long to turn this product out for you. But here we are, and we're moving forward with kind of the stuff that needs to be done now, and we're going to be offering some new services. So we also have another machine coming in, and we'll get to that probably at the end of the month, turn of the month, and we'll talk a little bit about what it can do, capabilities, and obviously we're going to be running lots of patterns and samples and stuff, and we'll definitely get into that when we get there. But if you haven't checked out my other videos, spend a little bit of time, see if it's something that you like. If you like me as an individual, go ahead and hit the like button, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. We've got a gun show coming up at the end of this month in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, as a matter of fact, and we will have a booth there. We will have some of the stuff out there like this, so if you want to come by, you're local to our state, or one of the surrounding states, you want to see us, you want to ask some questions, you want to get a quote on something possibly, or just pick our brain as far as what we can do, what we can't do, turnaround times, come out and see us, ask those questions, bring those products, and we'll try to get those answers to you the best we can and as quick as we can. So we're planning on having other stippled stuff at the show as well, and there's a possibility we may have some polymer P80 lowers available, so you would be able to pick up a lower directly from us at the show. So we're only going to have a handful of them, but it will be one of those things where we'll probably have a couple on display, and then you can go ahead and grab one and purchase it if you're actually looking to build something. So it might be an opportunity to come out and put your hands on something. I know you guys have seen the videos online from Z-Tech and some of the other laser companies out there that are doing a lot of them, but I don't think a lot of you guys have actually had one in hand, can see the quality, what it looks like, what it doesn't look like, you know, and see exactly if it's something that, you know, fits your needs and fits your wants. And, you know, might be an opportunity to pick one up there. So really, really cool opportunity that will be. We are really looking forward to catering to the market as far as answering those questions. And guys, it's been great this last year or so with you guys. We've turned out a lot of different work, a lot of different projects. We've learned a lot of different things. I've done some projects that I haven't had to do before that I was tasked to do from some of you guys. So really cool opportunity for you guys, giving me the opportunity to work for you, to actually turn those products out for you. And especially the comments that I get from you guys, you know, you guys keep me kind of geared and headed in the correct direction. You know, you're always coming back looking for more, and I'm always looking to do more. So really, really cool on both sides of the table there that you guys get to see a little bit, and hopefully, you know, I get to do a little bit. So guys, you can catch me on some of the next videos. I'm only, you know, a call, an email, or an Instagram away. You can always message me through Instagram or message me through Facebook. Go to our contacts page on our webpage, and you'll find information from there that you can shoot us an email directly from there, or you can, you know, text us right from there as well. So very, very cool. So guys, have a good one.